So firstly, one of the signs is that Medina will become desolate. People will leave it. Medina will become desolate. This will be before the Day of Judgment, about 40 years. About 40 years before the Day of Judgment, Medina Munawwara will become desolate and everybody will leave it. So there'll be nobody left to inhabit Medina Munawwara. Imam Abu Dawud relates from Mu'adh radiyallahu an that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when Jerusalem becomes inhabited, that will signal the desolation of Yathrib. That will signal that Medina Munawwara will become empty. Everybody will move to Jerusalem. And when that happens, then that is going to be a very critical moment in the life of this world. The hadith continues. We've covered this hadith before. Imam Tabarani then relates about Medina Munawwara. He said, سَيَبْلُغُ الْبِنَاءُ سَلَعًا, that the inhabitation of Medina Munawwara, the structures, the buildings and so on, its inhabitation will reach all the way to Jabal Sala'. Jabal Sala', which is, Jabal is a mountain. Mountain of Sala' is, Mount Sala' is a bit of a distance away. When you're entering Medina Munawwara, you see Sala'. So, of course, Medina Munawwara has had a sprawl and it's very large now. So that was a prophecy narrated by Imam Tabarani, that Prophet ﷺ said that it will reach Sala'. And then a time will come that a person will be traveling through the area and he'll pass by Medina Munawwara. And as anybody who's been for Umrah or Hajj, they know what Medina Munawwara, they have an idea of what it looks like, how inhabited it is. It's not just a small area anymore, it's a very large area. In order for us to get to Masjid An-Nabawi, you have to go through quite a few different areas before you can get in. So such a person who's been there before would pass by it and he would say that, this used to be inhabited once upon a time. This used to be a built up area once upon a time. And it would have been long desolate. So when he's looking at it, all he will see is remnants, no inhabitation. Things will be desolate and maybe dilapidated in that area. Imam Ahmad also relates such a narration. And the thing is that there's another narration in which it mentions, and these are all with reliable narrators, that Medina, the people, the inhabitants of Medina will leave it and abandon it, not because there's going to be a shortage of water, there's going to be a shortage of food or fresh trees and greenery and so on. No, it says that the inhabitants of it will abandon it despite the fact that it will be quite green and lush. So there's everything there to sustain life, but people will leave it and abandon it. So then the Sahaba asked, then who's going to benefit from this greenery and this lushness? So he said, the wild animals, that they will basically inhabit the place afterwards. In Bukhari and Muslim, so this particular narration is in Bukhari and Muslim, it says, you will abandon Medina in one of the best of its times, purely in terms of the way it will be built up. It will be beautiful, you'll have everything there, so it will be in the best of its states, and you will abandon it at that kind of a time. مُثَلِّلَةً ثِمَارَهَا, its fruits, its trees will be providing shade, so it just shows an abundance of lushness. But only the wild animals will be able to take benefit from it. The birds and the four-legged animals. It says that the last of the people that will be driven to their gathering place from there, signaling the end of the absolute end of the time, will be 2 shepherds from the Muzayna tribe. There's another narration. It says that the Day of Judgment will not occur until this masjid of mine. So the Prophet ﷺ is speaking about the masjid. This masjid of mine will become dominated, overcome by the dogs and the wolves and the wild animals. And a person may pass by to want to pray in it. They wouldn't be able to. They'll be overtaken by the animals. Ibn Abi Shayba narrates with a sound chain, with an authentic chain, that you will leave it like this in its fresh, despite its freshness and greenness, for 40 years for these wild creatures. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, it's related from him, Day of Judgment will not occur until a fox will come. It will lie down on the mimbar of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and nobody will be there to shoo it away. Ibn Abi Shayba has a more of a detailed hadith. He says that the people of Medina will leave it, then they'll come back to it, then they'll come out of it again and leave it, and then after that they will never come back again. And when the second time when they leave it, it will be the best of its times in terms of the way it will be built up and so on. So the first time, we already know during the fitnas before Abdullah ibn Zubair, during that time when we spoke about before, when they had to leave because of the big fitna that came in and the attacks and so on, that was obviously not a complete abandonment. That was, many people went out into hidings around and so on. But this one will be, most people will leave it. However, as bad as this sounds, there'll be a big reason for why this will happen. And the first hadith which I mentioned signals why. Everybody will go to Jerusalem. This is after the Mahdi comes, and Mahdi, rahmatullahi alayhi, Allah knows best exactly. Allah knows best, but if we put some of the narrations together, as the author mentions here, is that when the Mahdi comes, he will have to go to Jerusalem, and all the believers will go out to Jerusalem. Because if you remember that before that, all of the munafiqeen had come out to Dajjal. Dajjal will not be able to enter. They will come out to him. Many thousands will come out. Medina will shake a few times, and all the munafiqeen will come out. All the pious people after that are remaining, they will go out to Jerusalem, because there is a major problem in the world, which is to deal with the Dajjal, and they need it. So they will go out, and that's why it will be left, never to return. That's a possibility. None of these things are, none of these additional details are absolute. So one must remember that. So they will all make migration. They will all migrate to Baytul Maqdis. And that's why there's another narration which says that there will be a hijrah after the hijrah. There will be a migration after the original migration. There will be another migration that will take place from Medina. And whoever will remain. Now there's another hadith which kind of throws this off a bit. Because in this hadith it mentions that whoever does remain, other than those who migrate, there'll be a few that may remain, then they will die after the soft wind will blow. We haven't studied the soft wind yet, but the soft wind is another major sign of the Day of Judgment, after which there will be no believers left in this world. That soft wind will come and have all those who believe and say Allah, all of them will perish by that soft wind. So the final few inhabitants remaining there, which signals a very end time, much after everything happens, that the last of the people. So it seems to signal that the majority will leave. There will be a few who may not be able to leave, maybe old, whatever. And this is going to happen 40 years before the Day of Judgment. So it gives us a kind of an idea. This is talking about very far away, after the Dajjal and Ya'juj Ma'juj. Now, another thing that complicates this matter a bit, which is important to mention, is that there's a number of narrations which say that this deen will come back to Madinah Munawwara. Just as it started from there, it will come back to it. What we've been just telling you right now is that the deen will move away from it to Jerusalem. So that means the deen is still there. So how is it that it's coming back to Madinah Munawwara just the way it started in Madinah Munawwara? How do you reconcile these two ahadith? Can you see now the complications? You see the one complication, you see the one hadith which is saying that will become desolate, and now you're seeing that according to another hadith, deen will come back to Madinah Munawwara, just like it started. In fact, Imam Nasa'i relates, Yeah, there's another narration which is related by Abu Hurairah radiallahu anh in Nasa'i, Sunan Nasa'i, which says that the last of the areas, the last of the places to become desolate will be Madinah Munawwara. The last of the people the last of the areas of Islam will be Madinah Munawwara. So, how is that possible? The hadith is a famous hadith which says that the deen will come back to Madinah Munawwara just like a snake always comes back to its burrow, its hole in the ground, that its place of dwelling. So now one way to reconcile between this, and Allah knows best, is that there will be fitna that will engross the whole world, and that will be when the Mahdi will come out, and we've spoken about that before. So the people of Medina will remain with Mahdi, right? So initially Mahdi will be in Madinah Munawwara, Mahdi rahmatullah will be in Madinah Munawwara. So that shows that the deen will come back, and that's where the original deen, the savior, the survival of the deen will start, from Madinah Munawwara. So those ahadith refer to the time of Mahdi, the initial time of Mahdi. But afterwards he will leave, and so will the believers. So then when the Dajjal, Medina will remove all of its impurities, meaning the munafiqeen. And then after that it will only be those people who have khalis iman, right? And then they will go to Jerusalem. So that kind of gives us an understanding of the way it will happen, that when there will be no other place in the world except where Mahdi will be, which will be in Madinah Munawwara. That's where it will all come back to initially, and then it will go to Jerusalem, and then Medina will become desolate.